beautiful souls from all over the world coming here right now, all together in this magic. Good morning. Yay, can't wait. Can't wait. I can't wait too. I am so excited to be here and help you guys, see you. And really, we're all transforming together. I see this, as a journey, and we're all one. We're just, going through this beautiful process and allowing ourselves this space to do so. This is our cocoon right now. We're all in this cocoon. We're all allowing ourselves this space that we need, and also the introspection that's required to make the changes that need to be made, And like we said yesterday, the magic is all within us. Okay, this version of ourselves is within us. It's about activating him, activating her, this possibility. It's the alignment with this version. There's nothing outside that's stopping you from being this person. It's this inner alignment, okay? And it's a vibration game. It's an energy game. See, that's what this is about. So I love seeing your faces. Welcome back to day 3. And I just wanted to, before I'll bring Matt on now. There you are. Ta-da! Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
So I wanted to go through to see how everybody went yesterday with the questions. And before we kick off the next phase of Transform. So I guess I want to ask you guys, if you want to type in the chat, what did you become aware of? Because there's gaps, you see, there's thought gaps, emotional gaps. So the way it was designed was specifically so you become aware of where your alignment needs to be. Okay. And so that's really what I want to check in with you. How did you go? And if you did day 1, you haven't done day 2, that's okay. How did you go? This is just, I want you to share what you became aware of within yourself. So I'll give you guys a minute to do that. How did you find the questions, Matt? Like, what did you, how did you go?
Well, to be honest, I was doing them this morning. So I didn't do them yesterday, I did it this morning. And I noticed that, the first couple of questions really took my energy to, another level. And then becoming aware of the gap of where my thinking habitually is compared to where it needs to be in order for me to be where I want to be. There was that gap. So I noticed my vibration lowered a little bit in thinking, the next couple of questions, but then it raised up again once I connected to that wish fulfilled again in the last few questions after that question 3 and 4. So
that's a great point. And you know what? That's intentional. So you can feel the difference, right? It's intentional. It's not to go, oh no, why am I going backwards in vibration? It's intentional so you can see what it feels like to feel more from your alignment and identity, and what it feels like to feel how you have been. You see, this former identity. And then you're back up again to notice the feeling shift. It's energy. I play with energy. I love to play feelings. And so you can go, wow, when I feel high, I'm in alignment and I'm feeling this certain way. And when I'm feeling this way, I am not in alignment with this version. You are in alignment. You're just in alignment with maybe current results, or maybe past results, or maybe there's a different identity being you're aligning with. So I thank you for sharing that, because it's such a great point of energy comparison and awareness.
Right? Yeah, well, I think as I was answering the questions, I'm like, you've done a really good job with these questions in helping me identify a contrast. And I think when we can become aware of the contrast, then we can start making alterations to make the changes in our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. So I think you did a good job there.
Thank you. It was, to me, transformation. If you want to collapse time, when I say collapse time, if you want to step into your new identity, like pronto. It's not about forcing it, but it is about the energy shift. How can you be this new version, this more divine version, and stay here? If you can stay here, bang, you're going to become this person energetically, and you're going to attract whatever you need to attract, all the things. So it's a different vibration. How are you playing the energy game really incremental? Are you not shifting energy at all and you're staying where you are, and that's why results are what they are? Or have you got that ability to really let go and clinch onto this new one, clinch onto this new alignment and say, this is my new normal. This is who I am. This is how I feel. I do not let the outside control how I feel. I do not let other people's comments affect how I feel. I get to choose how I feel because I'm the one in control of my emotions. I'm the one in control of how I feel. You see? And so understanding that we are the creator of our reality. We are the manifester of our experience. We can now be a lot more deliberate with which ideas we buy. You know, one of the things that I used to be a lot more of, you know, an older version of me would just agree with everybody to be polite. And just say yes, accepting ideas. Like I had no control of accepting ideas, even if I didn't agree with someone, right? Now, it doesn't mean I also didn't like conflict, so I'd avoid it at all cost. So this more divine version of me now is not afraid to share how I feel, but doing it in a loving way, expressing myself more, being confident in expressing me, or helping shift someone else's perception. Or what if this? Or, you know what? They may say it and I might silently say, that's your idea. That's your belief. Because what you believe is true for you, but what I believe is true for me. So it's allowing myself to be in control of what I'm accepting to be true for me. You know, I'm going to tell you one thing right here. The most important relationship you have right now is the one between you and yourself, and you and this power. Okay? Because as your relationship with yourself improves, then you are going to have different perception of you. You're going to feel different about you. You're going to feel more confident being you. Your thoughts about you are one of the most important things in being this more divine version. And that is a truth. The better quality your thoughts are about yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you're accepting how amazing you are. You see, the outside world will start to mirror that. Okay. Now, if you want to allow more, a better relationship in, let's say, well, then you're going to have to be in alignment with being in harmony with that relationship that you want. We've got to match our energy to what it is we want. So, for example, I was listening to this morning and it was so good. It's so true. I see how I attracted Matt. I was the person in harmony to attract Matt. But I had to shift and change to be this version to attract someone that I wanted. You see? So, for example, we want harmony in a relationship, but we're the person that creates drama and chaos. We're not in alignment with harmony, are we? We've got to be a harmonious person to attract a harmonious relationship. And one of the other things is loving ourselves. If we really want others to love us and receive love, we've got to be the one who loves ourselves. So in other areas, financially, it's the same thing. We've got to vibrate the frequency. So alignment is thoughts, feelings, behaviors. Understanding you can do the thought, but not the feelings, and then it all falls to pieces. It's energy. It's how you're feeling. Are you feeling at ease, relaxed, allowing, appreciative, love? Do you feel grateful? Do you feel abundant? And if not, is it just the program that's out to play, or is there something else? Okay. So energy matching is the name of the game with transformation. How quick are you to release and let go? That's going to be your question to ask yourself. If you're quick at letting go of things, then it'll be easier for you to move up the ranks and the rungs of vibration. If you love holding on to things and you brew over things, you're going to be holding on to your former version and baggage and other stories that no longer serve you. Okay. So Frozen, like, let it go. We're going to let it go. Let it all go. Funny, Chloe's getting into Frozen now. So she's singing it a lot more. I love it. It's so good. All right. So let's read. Let's see what you guys have said in the chat. I need to be more. Interesting. Need to be more. Yeah. And this is so true, because without the being this person, we might be doing things, but we're not being. We're going to be and be inspired to do, and then do those things in alignment. That's what this means. Like you quoted yesterday, I believe, Matt Wallace Waddle says, you don't get rich by doing certain things. You get rich by doing things in a certain way. Well, if we're, okay, so I'll give you an example. If we're buying something, we're circulating money, and we're really annoyed, upset that, oh, this costs so much, or you're frustrated, you're complaining. Well, that's that relationship you have with money in that moment. Do you think money is going to come back to you in abundance when you're in that low vibration? Or are you happy, you're grateful, you're getting emotionally involved with what you're receiving, that you're circulating? Maybe it was a beautiful cup of tea, or maybe it was a thing, a physical material thing. Are you in the energy of what it makes you feel like when you have that? Something one of my friends taught me, which is, I love it. She said, when you write, you can do gratitude, write your gratitude, but also write what you are grateful that you have. So you can write, I'm so happy and grateful that I easily paid for this beautiful, healthy lunch for me and Matt. It made me feel looked after, nurtured, healthy, abundant. You see? And so what I'm doing is I'm getting emotionally involved and connected with that feeling of that exchange. And so the way we are exchanging our energy throughout the day is what we're going to allow back in. Are we open or are we closed? Are we shut off to receiving? Because everything's right here for us. The opportunities, the clients, the friends, the mentors, the support, the money, the happiness, it's all here. Are we shut off to it? Or are we just ready to, I call it undressing. We're going to just undress that layer of clothes that you've been wearing that no longer serve you. You're going to put on this nice, shinier one. Okay. One that's more in alignment with the truth. I call it, like, we're pretty much getting more naked as we go on through life, right? We're coming back to who we are in its purity. So to me, transformation, when we set off after this beautiful thing we want to manifest, a goal, a vision, it's a process of purification. We're purifying our minds with more beautiful thoughts, more abundant thoughts, more loving thoughts. We're purifying our bodies end up becoming more pure, because there is a connection between having clean thoughts and a clean body. As long as we're doing the work. See? So there is a process of purification. We let go, we forgive, we allow, we attract. And then when we do something, we're doing it from a much higher vibration. Much more divine, much more prosperous, abundant place. And our experience then becomes a magical one rather than a survival one that's just about doing. Okay. My energy wasn't aligned with where I want to be. I've switched my thinking. My energy has changed. I'm vibing high. Yay! Woo, go, Vicky. I love it. Oh, what an amazing shift, just like that. You know what I love, Vicky, actually, you had texted me saying, you know, you're so grateful that you could attend this. You stayed home. You weren't feeling the greatest in your body to go to work, but you saw the good that now you can attend all these calls and look at you shifting. It's like exactly what you needed. Can we trust more and more that what we are receiving is the universe feedback trying to help us? See, we've been asking, for some of you, you've been asking for what you want for a while, but you've been fighting against the universe. You know, I think it was you, Matt, that you had mentioned, you got me to listen to something that was September 11, and it was the stories of the people who were meant to be there at the towers and actually weren't. And it was talking about how God, the universe, is how divine things are. And for someone, it was they spilled coffee on their shirt and they went back home and they went to go get a new shirt. For someone, their wife asked them to take their kids to daycare and that. And so they didn't go to work. And it's the energy, what Vicky, you've just expressed some of that is, wow, like, yes, it's for me. Everything is for me. If we're in the energy of against, well, then that's the resistance. That's the low vibration. Everything is for us, but we've got to give up our control. We have to give up this idea that we need to control it all. And damn, for the control freak, this is when you just got to do. I see some smiles. It's resonating. It's okay. I can also resonate. Okay. I've had to give up, and I'm still giving up another layer, another level for me to be this version is more to let go of. And so I'm going through this. My own manifestation requires me to be a different version of Nat. You know, the version I need to be to manifest my next manifestation is someone who really has these amazing thoughts about herself all the time, no matter what is said on the outside, no matter what. So the perception of me, you see, it's someone who really doesn't judge. If I add an assumption, it's a divine assumption. So that's the next level for me. So I want to ask you to think about, what does it require for you now for your manifestation of what you want? You've experienced now by writing it, hopefully by day 2. What does it require more of? What's it requiring you? Is it to be high vibration, to feel better, to feel good, to have more fun, to let go of control, let go of judgment, let go of criticism, be what? More what? More relaxed, more allowing, more flexible. Obviously, Vicky's had that shift. That's awesome. Becoming more aware of the thinking of where I am and want to be. Yes, awareness. Yes, you made it. Great to have you here. I noticed that I habitually kept feeling that my goal will be achieved in the future, next week, next month. I now need to create a new habit of my goal achieved today. Ooh, that is a great shift. That's an awareness. It will always stay away if we think it's away. One day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to do that. I wish I could do that. Right? Away. But the universe just responds to our energy now. It just says yes. It's not like having a mom where you can be in a bad mood and your mom just like hugs you and soothes you. No, universe goes, okay, bad mood, but more bad mood. Let's give you more things to annoy you. So if we want to attract more of what we want, We have to feel like how we would feel when we've already received it now. What would that be? What emotions would you be feeling? Have you received that? Now, can you feel those emotions more often? Can we stay feeling these vibrations without getting off them? If you get off them, you come back on really quickly. And more and more and more until this new state becomes your natural state. And then your result is that. And there's another version, another manifestation that you want. The energy is high and growing with being more aware of who I want to be. Feels so much better. Start feeling great. Yeah, there we are. Can I ask you, Matt? I want to bring you on here and just ask you, with your transformation, what did you, because you can go back and there's no point, but what's one of the lessons you learned that allowed you to shift quicker? Because really you did go from being in one career and then 3 months later you're full-time in your career, more aligned with your purpose, what you love, time freedom, there's less limit to your financial capacity, like a lot changed. What do you feel really helped you? Because I know there's people that have been wanting to make transitions into their dream careers or, in something that it's been a while. What do you think helped you?
I think as I was reading Kyle's comment there about habitually kept feeling that his goal will be achieved in the future, and having to get into that energy or the habit of being the energy of the goal being achieved today. And it takes my mind back to when we first spoke with one of Bob's coaches about going to see Bob in Toronto. And we didn't have the physical resources to get to Toronto. And we had like just about a week from that first conversation to when that seminar was starting. We had about a week before that seminar started, and we didn't have the finances. We had Oliver, our son, that we had to be mindful of as well. It was on the other side of the world. And so when we made that decision, regardless of our circumstances, that was one step, right? So first of all, a decision, a definite decision of what you're going to do or who you're going to become, okay? In this instance, we're talking about identity and transformation, but it's the same thing. It's a definite decision, an irrevocable decision, okay? And actually, I spoke about the word decide on day one, and I went and I looked it up on this morning, and I wrote it down. It says the meaning of the word decide comes from the Latin word decidere, which is a combination of two words, de, which is off, and caeda, which is cut. Now, excuse my pronunciation, but it's the cut off, right? And so when you make an irrevocable decision, you're cutting off any other option. And so in any phase of my transformation, there's always been a definite decision that has been made, right? Like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. Like, this is not who I am, right? It's a definite decision. And then you act like that person, but you have to think and feel like that person now. That is a key element. And to continue with what I was sharing about us going to Toronto, I remember for that whole week when we're trying to manifest that money, we were in the spirit of being in that room with Bob Proctor in Toronto. We had affirmations, we had songs, we had, we got our son Oliver, singing along in the jingles, but we were in the spirit of being there in that moment, being in his presence. And so that energy was what we were tuning into, right? And I think in studying people and studying myself, the main reason why people don't make decisions is because they can't see how they're going to get there or how they're going to do it. That's the major reason why people don't make decisions. And that's why their life never really changes. That's why they never really fully go through that transformation for themselves. Okay. But when we understand that when we're making decisions, we want to make a change, we're going into the unknown. So we're dealing with the unseen side of our personality. We're dealing with the spiritual side of life. everything's energy. Everything, from this piece of paper to my jacket to me as a being, like everything is energy. And we have to match the frequency of what we want, because everything functions on frequencies. You know, like a radio, you can only pick up and tune into, you can only pick up and receive whatever you're tuned into. Okay. And so frequency is a level of vibration. If I actually draw it out here, you'll get the gist. You can see me. Yeah. All right, so let those lines represent frequencies, right? And if you're thinking from, okay, so we think on frequencies. Our thoughts are on frequencies, right? So I want you to imagine that there are infinite amounts of frequencies, infinite, no beginning, no end. And the frequency that you habitually think on, we're based on your current conditioning, okay? So let's say this is the results that you're receiving in your life right now is on this frequency. They're the thoughts that you're thinking are based on the results that you're getting. You can see, okay, these can also represent levels of conscious awareness, okay? You know how you got to where you are right now in life, whether it's your financial situation, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships, whether any area of your life, you can see how you got there. Now, there's one stage when you were on a lower level of awareness, operating on a different frequency, you couldn't see how to get to where you are today. What you want, okay, the goal or the lifestyle that you want to live is on a higher frequency. It's on a different frequency. So let that star represent your goal, your aim, whatever it is that you're working towards, the life that you'd love to live. Well, there are also thoughts on that frequency. Now, the problem is there's a gap between here and there. You might not have the conscious awareness right now of how to get there or how to live that life or you know, the things that you need to do or the people that you need to meet. Like you don't, there's a gap there. You're going into the unknown if you're going after something that you've never done before. And so making a decision to do something or to be someone can be scary. Where's the money going to come from? Where's the resources going to come from? And this holds people back. Like I can see where it's held me back in the past. I was so scared to commit to going to see Bob Proctor because, like I said, we didn't have the resources. I didn't think we had enough time to come up with the resources that we needed. Now, but when we really, and that like you talk about remembering where you were in that moment, you know, where you were standing in the lounge room with your hand on the mantle when we really made that decision, because it was such a life-changing decision that we made to go there, right? Because we knew that if we didn't change anything, nothing was going to change, right? So we came to that realization. But in that moment, we had no idea how this is all going to fill in. But like Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will connect some point in the future. You have to trust. There has to be a level of faith. But when you make a definite decision, okay, when you make a definite decision, you literally flip your mind on a higher frequency. Your mind goes there. You start thinking the thoughts that are on that higher frequency. You start thinking from that place, not of it, from it. And then you start becoming consciously aware because you're thinking from a higher frequency. You start seeing and getting ideas that are on that frequency. Oh, I can see, maybe I'll just do this. You get little hunches. Oh, maybe I ought to call this person, right? And so you start raising your awareness, and then those lines start filling in, the dots start connecting. Now, within 7 days, we had everything paid for, or nearly everything, apart from the accommodation. We had the flights booked and paid for 3 of us. We had the event paid in full. Like, so much happened in such a short period of time because there was such an intense attention of thinking from this place, regardless of the physical circumstances that we were, regardless of the physical circumstances at all that we were experiencing, right? So this is where we're going to use when it comes to going to a new place, when it comes to going into the unknown, we have to use our higher mental faculties. We have to use our imagination to go there. Okay, you can use your imagination to go into the future, see yourself there, see yourself experiencing it, feel it. Okay, so you get emotionally involved with it. Like that's talking so much about the feeling. And that's really the key there, is feeling it and then bringing it into the present, feeling that now. Right? And these start connecting. And I think that when it comes to transformation, without a definite decision, you keep operating from the current circumstances. And if someone who says, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this, that's my decision, when something else happens, I'm going to do this once I get the money, I'm going to do this once the kids are out of school, then that's not definite decision, because you're still thinking from your current circumstances. So you keep experiencing it. You stay fused with it. If we look, I want to read you something here. It says, the future must become the present in the imagination of the one who would wisely and consciously create circumstances. Well, that's exactly what you want to do. Well, that's what I want to do anyway. I want to wisely and consciously create new circumstances in my life, for my business, for my family, in everything that I'm doing. I want things to get better. Better is a good word, right? And I'm sure that you wouldn't be here if you didn't want the same thing. So we must translate vision into being. You know what Susan said? It needs to be more. Yeah, we got to translate our vision into being. We got to be that person now to the greatest degree that you can be. Okay, that's how you're going to enter into the spirit of it. That's how you're going to be tuned in on that frequency. You'll receive all the thoughts, the ideas, the people, conditions, circumstances. It's all going to come to you when you trust and you be that person now. Okay, and you think we must translate vision into being, thinking of into thinking from. Imagination must center itself in some state and view the world from that state. How does it look? How does it look when you're there? You know, you can actually take your mind, like you might be sitting there in your office, or you might be sitting there in, in your home. You can close your eyes and you can go anywhere in the world. Maybe you can expand even further than this world, right? It depends how vivid your imagination is. But you can go anywhere. Right now, you can go to the beach. It can be nice, warm, sunny. You can go even into the past. This morning, I was driving my daughter to childcare, and I had my imagination just went to this place, and I was there with my grandmother, who's passed on to the next phase of her journey. But I was with my grandmother, and it was so real to me. I could feel her hug. She was kissing me. Her kiss was so loud. Every time she kissed me, it was just so loud in my ear. But in that moment, as I was driving, I was there with my grandmother. And it made me feel a certain way. It made me emotional, right? Because in that moment, even though I was driving the car, driving my daughter to childcare, I was with my grandmother. That's what our minds can do. Then our mind is not limited to this physical experience in this physical body. It can travel anywhere. There are infinite frequencies. That's where your goal is now. Once you get there, you'll see you can go so much further. You're not limited. I'm not limited. Anywhere. You could be anything that you want. Infinite possibilities. If we can really grasp that, it's mind-bending. It really is.
That is so good. I love what you just shared about your grandmother, because once again, it's the emotion. So the image gave you an emotion that felt real, which was real. And we can do things, say things, write things, but without the emotional connection, it doesn't change us and how we feel. And so I could feel, even as you were sharing that, like I could feel the emotion because you felt the emotion. Can we see that others will feel what we feel? Okay, so I love what you said, because decision is one of the most important things, topics, ideas you're going to notice anytime you move to another level of manifestation and creation, a decision's involved. Right? A decision's involved. And a decision, once again, is an emotional one. It's like you impress the subconscious with, like, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. I don't know about you, Matt, but every time I've made a decision, it's like I remember where I was. I remember how I felt in that moment. I remember what I was looking at in my body, like I can see from that moment. Does that happen to anyone else? Or is that just me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So decisions leave an imprint.
They change you.
Absolutely.
They change a part of you. There's like something in your mind changes in that moment when you make an irrevocable decision. It's like, that's enough. Like, that's it.
You know, I made a decision. I don't know when I don't remember the date, I remember the moment, because that's what it is. We live in moments. That's why everything kind of fades away. The intellect fades away when we make decisions. So I made this decision and I felt it, and it was like deep and irrevocable again. And I just, as soon as that happened, like my world's been shifting at lightning speed. And so much is changing inside me, without, and back and forth. So that's what decision does. You know, decisions put us on a frequency now where, boom, we just start attracting instantly. So that is what's required. If you want to create the life that you love, the one that you wrote, the version, the identity, who you want to be, what story you want to tell, if you decide to be this woman, this man, this person, this being that lives that life, that requires a decision. And I've written here, transformation requires you to value yourself enough to commit to your own transformation. There's got to be an element of worth in there that you have either had enough of tolerating what you were tolerating, whether you've just gone, right, I deserve more, I want more, I believe I can have more. There's an element of belief in yourself when you make a decision, or you wouldn't make it. The more supported you feel, the easier and faster you can experience change inside and out. This is huge as well, because I have experienced being in environments as well where I didn't feel supported. I didn't have my cocoon was my shower and my bedroom, or like I've been in other places as well where it required a lot of mental strength, inner strength, to create a transformation when everything outside of me was in harmony with the old version of me. So I had to allow myself space. And this is where, once you make a decision, you have a cocoon that helps support you. Like in here, this is right now an example of a cocoon. Well, now you have this space to transform, to grow. Okay. And I believe the more loving, nurturing, and supportive it is, the higher vibration it is, that will speed it up. Okay. Because you feel safe. You feel safe to let go of insecurities. You feel safe to share, like, oh my gosh, I just became aware of this. And you're not afraid anymore. So the more you can feel faith and safe, the more you will transcend, essentially. And so that's why I've mentioned here, our academy provides professional, world-class, nurturing, empowering community. And I know some of you are here from our academy and you've been speaking. We're going to bring Jessalyn in a moment. And it is that cocoon. And that's why I put in here as a question, do you feel you have that nurturing, safe, high vibration environment that's holding you to the new version of you? Because the world as we know it outside is holding us to their version of us, their image of us. And this is where you can call it a little bit of a battle goes on. We've got to love ourselves through transformation. And sometimes we do have to retreat to do it. We do have to go, no longer going to be around certain energy. No longer going to give my energy there. I'm going to focus it on my transformation, on my vibration. I'm going to give myself the attention, the love, and the space that I need so I can be the best version that I can be. Because we cannot transform if we're operating from survival mode. First a decision, then you enter the cocoon that supports you, and then you have that space where your new version is nurtured. You show up there as your new version that then you can bring into your outer world. Then everything, people will start seeing you differently. This is so important.
It's so huge what you just said, Nat. And nature will be such a great example of what you just said. Like, if you think of it, if I have a carrot seed, that carrot seed, you plant that in the ground, it can't grow into a tomato or anything apart from a carrot. Why? Because that seed, the vibration of that seed cannot change. The vibration of the seed remains the same. So you put it in the soil, it's attracting the things from that soil that it needs to grow into a carrot. The vibration remains the same. The thing with us as people, with our thoughts, we can keep changing vibration. We don't have to remain as we are. We keep thinking the way we're thinking, we're going to stay on that same vibration. We keep letting our thoughts or our circumstances control our thinking. We keep remaining there. But if we want to flip to another frequency, we become a whole new version and attract different things to us. So being in an environment that's nurturing you in that new version of yourself allows you to remain in that vibration for longer. So you're going to attract the thoughts. Now, and I've been thinking, and we've been speaking a lot more, Nat, you and I personally, about having space to yourself and how important having space to yourself is, because you are isolating yourself from other people's thinking, other people's habits, other people's perception of yourself. That is so important. It gives you that time to really, and that space really, to remain in that energy, to tap into it, to feel it, and to nurture it. So important what you just shared. I really hope people get that, because that is the key. It's remaining on that frequency until it becomes natural to you to be that person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And especially if you like to please people and if you want to be kind, you've got that kindness, that is great, but don't do it at the cost of your transformation. Don't just say, yes, all right, yeah, let's go out and socialize, when your intuition's guiding you and you're feeling like that's not what you want to do. So what you actually want to do is gratitude, or go get a massage, or do something that elevates your vibration, something that's in harmony with your new identity. You want to go shopping. You just feel like going shopping to the casino or to whatever mall that makes you feel more in harmony. So you really have to have this worth strong enough that allows you to say no to certain things that no longer serve you, and yes to what's in harmony with your new life. And so if you find that challenging and you feel like you're holding yourself back to please others, then that's something you're going to have to shift. I know some of you will really resonate with that, because some of you have to keep working on that. Some of you have to be okay to say, okay, sure. Like, I'll give you an example. There was someone who sent me a text that they called me, and I was in the middle of something and I was feeling good they called me. And then I missed it and they wanted to chat, and I said, oh, I just texted instead. I could have called, but intuitively I knew it was going to get me off the frequency that I was in. So I chose to protect my energy. Is it selfish to transform and to be your best version? you may have that perception. Oh, am I being selfish? Am I being rude? You're aligning. And in the alignment, you have to give up something good for something great. And it doesn't mean that's going to be like that forever. It just means through that metamorphosis, you are really becoming this version of you, and your energy is required of you. Like the caterpillar goes in a cocoon for a reason and stays in there for 21 days. It goes inward. Then it comes out and the world's like, wow, look at that butterfly. Look how beautiful. So now the world's dazzled by your amazingness. But in that process, no one saw you. Like, you were doing your thing.
So I guess, is there anything actually wrong with being selfish? I don't think so.
No.
I think we have to be selfish sometimes. I truly do. And I never used to think this way, but I have changed my mind. I think we've got to be selfish, because if we're not selfish, like, we're never going to, not that we're never going to grow, but we got to do things for ourselves. We got to do something for us a lot of the time, right? We more often than what we probably habitually do, right? And the more you do things for yourselves, the more you grow yourself, other people around you will benefit as a side effect. They will. Like Desta was sharing, Lucy shared Desta's note yesterday, her message. Her family has benefited from her transformation. Like, it's so amazing. But she did that for her, right? So we got to do things for ourselves. And, if you have this guilt about, maybe family members or other people, know that they will benefit from your personal growth and your transformation. They really will. And it takes me back to when you started going to PT lessons or going to the gym early this year now. And I wasn't training at all, right? That had an influence on me. That was something that you did for yourself. And then I started going to the gym.
And
right?
can I share, honestly, I had these thoughts of guilt. So I had to keep kicking out this guilt that I was doing something for me and I was driving somewhere and I should be taking care of the kids, or Matt's there looking after him. And it was a bit of a wrestle. And I had to keep reminding myself, no, I have a goal. This is in harmony. This is my identity. This is what I do. And I just kept being loving and kind to myself and had to keep coming back. The more self-worth you have, the easier it'll be for you to keep moving to your next level of transformation, because you're not going to go wrestle and battle yourself anymore. You're just going to give yourself full permission. And that was a huge lesson, that I did something for me that inspired Matt, that now has helped him and even our kids. But you know what's interesting? My son was the one that inspired me with doing all of his training. So then he had an image of himself and I was like, oh, I like that. I want to feel more athletic and strong and fit. I want to run half a marathon. Like, I want to do something I thought would never do. And I'm going to do it this year. Okay. And so everyone benefits for the better, but don't perceive your transformation as doing something that's taking something away from others. And so if you have a spouse or if you have someone else and you feel like you want them on board, but you really want to do that, by you waiting for them to be on board, have your desire right now, not only are you holding yourself back, but you're holding everyone back from benefiting from your transformation. You're subconsciously telling the world, the universe, that I don't deserve to back myself. I don't deserve to bet on myself. So a lot of people begin their transformation the minute they transact that money on themselves to say, yes, this is my coaching. That happened to me, multiple 10 figures, and I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. Universe, yes. You see? So your decision to transform to me is an act of love. I'm going to bring Jess on. Jess, let's bring you on here.
Hi, Nat.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
So good to see you.
Hey, Jess.
I met
Hey,
Jess
Matt.
when I had my former identity version, which was a naturopath, right? In the clinic all those years ago now. It feels like a lifetime ago, actually. And I remember seeing you, your mom, your sister, like it was a family. It was beautiful. And then here we are. It's almost like click of our fingers. And here you are. And I have witnessed you, like literally amazing butterfly transformation. It's been remarkable in even just how your light, like your whole energy has shifted. And you're in our academy. You're actually been in it like the second time. And even I've noticed, because I was with you the first time as well, a lot more closely, how much you've just kept shifting. It's like picked up so much speed. Could you share with everyone a little bit about what you have felt to be your biggest shifts in your transformation?
Yeah. When you asked me to invited me to do this today, I did because, like what you said, my story, there's lots of transformation that I've experienced, and I'm probably in the depths of a new one right now. So what I did is I put some thoughts to paper, and I'm going to use that to really share my experience and how I felt. So how I feel about myself and my future today is very different to how I felt prior to joining the academy. So I can happily say that I've experienced success at various stages of my life, but over the time and now, my idea of success was changing, and this got me wanting more out of life. I had ideas about what I wanted, but I found myself in a place where I didn't feel like I was making progress, and this was impacting on how I felt about myself. So I wanted to understand and learn how I can transform my thinking and my life goals. So I knew I needed guidance, and I was drawn to the idea of coaching, but I needed to find the right person. And as you said, I reckon I manifested your presence in the form of a coach, Nat. I really do. I remember thinking about you because I was drawing at straws. Like I was looking at, well, how do I, if I can't find a coach that's right for me, how do I help myself? And I'm like, oh, I just need to find someone like Nat, Anyway, I was following you on Instagram, and I noticed a few of your posts about your business, and then I attended the free sessions, and I was connected and really curious about what you were offering, and the business. So I after that we connected. And we were talking about further coaching. And I recall this conversation so clearly because I knew my heart was leading me in a direction, but my head was telling a story and possibly sending me in the opposite direction. And this was kind of reflective of my experience of making decisions before the academy. So at times I found myself turning away from wonderful opportunities in my career and other areas of my life, but that pattern became a thing of the past when I chose to follow my heart, and I signed up to the academy. So
goosebumps there.
Yeah,
That's a change. It's life-changing right there. That shift.
It was. Yeah, it was. So, and like what you said, during the first probably 6 months, I saw huge progress, both in my career, in my personal life. There was a community. I was attracting people. I was attracting more money, more responsibilities. There was one occasion actually, which I keep on thinking back to, which I think this is really good to mention. And I wanted to provide more service, and I approached an organisation, and I wanted to volunteer, so provide my services to support young people, really young women transitioning from high school into the workforce. So I have the skills and experience, and I wanted to provide a workshop. Now that organisation was only going to progress if they could pay me, and that made me, at that point in time, I'm like, no, I'm doing this because I want to serve, and I need to do it for free, like in my mind. That was what I thought. But we had this conversation, and they were very clear that what they were doing was aligned with their organizational values as well. And what I noticed from that experience is I am drawing people to me that share the same values. Like we have the same views on life, and you know, these are the people that I want to work with and I want to have in my life. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And you know, it was also helping me transform about accepting you know, these just accepting that kind of response, which I probably wasn't used to before joining. But you know, I think
can I
can
ask
safely say that I feel a lot worthy now of accepting that.
Yes, I was actually just sorry to cut you off, because you mentioned something so good. Do you feel that you've learned what it feels like to receive?
Yeah. So that, so that came after, really. And I think the last 6 months has probably seen the most significant change and the most powerful type of change in my life. So I've raised my awareness to new levels, and I have a complete new understanding of myself, more than I've ever had before. I just really can't, I found it, like I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, I just can't put it into words, really. So I always thought I was open to new challenges, but I've never been as open as I've ever been now. And I feel this can be attributed to the personal work, but my increased faith in who I am and what I am and what I'm being, if that makes sense. I just, I really can't put it into words. Like I keep on thinking back, like all through my life, I've had, and I've only realized this through this process, so many people in my community throughout my career seeing the potential in me and telling me that I can do anything, really, and in what they've said. But I never believed it. But now I can safely say that I am comfortable with who I am, and I believe. So I feel a lot more confident about me and my future, and I know who I am and what I want. And I guess I'm in pursuit, but in a way of that feeling and that energy constantly. I'm constantly in that energy. And when I don't, you know, there's days when that energy is not as high, and I'm okay with that. But I love that energy. So, you know, I keep on, you know, wanting to be there, and I'm doing things that keep me at that, you know, those higher energy levels. So, yeah.
Oh, just like I've actually got tears, right? Because I can feel your energy. Like, can you feel this vibration? You're just radiating love and joy. And you know what? The words that come to mind is your heart has opened. Your energy has expanded. And that is such a beautiful thing that can only be done within. And you've been allowing yourself to be more you, and accepting yourself more, and loving yourself more, and honoring yourself. And you know, I'm so blessed that I get to witness this magic. It's just so beautiful. And I do remember that conversation when your head was saying one thing and your heart's like, no, but I want to do this. And you actually reminded me of something, because my head was saying, no, I'm not going to have a partner. And I met Matt, and I could have given up a whole beautiful life if I listened to my head. And understanding that now you've learned that emotionally is absolutely life-changing, because now you're leading and making decisions from your heart, which is always going to align you with your most divine self, your better version, and the best thing for you. And you're now more fearless about that. You've got faith now. Can I ask you, what would you tell someone who's in that place of where you were, right? You like talk to former version of Jess, where she really wants more. And so there might be someone listening to this who feels where you were and is afraid and doubting, and may not have this support of people and around to go, yeah, go for it, do it, of course. What would you say to that version?
Yeah. Whether or not those people are there around community, like again, my like I guess it's all in the head, really, in terms of the thoughts. Like I knew that my thoughts were sending me in the wrong direction, but again, it was based on a place of where I was. Like again, I was wanting to move forward. So I guess it's put really simply, and this is me changing my thinking, my perception of things. Like everything I give out is an investment. Like if I give an example, I had an interesting relationship with money previously, a really interesting relationship, and I had feelings associated with that, which held me back. So that has changed. Just for example, like bills. I see bills as investments. I get to heat my home. Like, wow. And I get to feel better, and I feel good when I attend these sessions each week when I'm working from home. So everything I see and do, I see as an investment in me. And so like what you said around the love I have, like again, I'm investing in me, my health, my thinking, my body, everything. So I can serve more. And yeah, it's just, I just see it as an investment, but not in a really, corny way of saying investment. It's in its true sense that everything you put out, you actually receive so much back, and even through bills.
Is that not just a beautiful perception, really?
I love that perception. That's so good. I'm going to adopt that. You know what I do, Jess, I've been doing this for years, probably like over 8 years. Anyway, whenever I receive a bill, I'll just put a notice in my calendar, gratefully pay whatever it is, right? And I'm going to change that to invest in whatever the bill is, because that is a perception. And if you see it as an investment, all of a sudden it feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't wait. Like, don't wait. Like, I didn't wait. I made that decision in that meeting with Nat that I was going to move forward, and I did it. Don't get me wrong. I was there was things in me that I was just dealing with. But look where I am now. Like, I don't wait to the due date for bills. I don't wait. Like, I don't wait. I don't hesitate. Why? Because I'm worthy, and it's an investment, right? So if it's an investment, why am I waiting? Why?
Oh, Jess, I just want to give you a big hug. I can feel it. It's just so much love. You are a butterfly right now, and you're probably going through another level of transformation, but you're going through it as this beautiful butterfly back as a caterpillar to a more beautiful butterfly. And it's just this ongoing process that I just thank you so much for sharing and really expressing this energy that you're in right now, that could only be expressed because you decided to bet on you.
Yeah. But I couldn't have done it, like, just as a final note. Like, you are both your duo. I don't know if it started when it was just Nat and then Matt, then it was the both of you. And I think it's a very unique coaching, that you provide, but it teaches people to, put the power back in your own hands. Like, I've got the power. I've got, I'm connected to that source, and really I can do anything I want to do. So, and that was through your guidance. That's why I'm where I am here today.
Oh, bless. And you know what? You've done it. You've created this version of you. Yes, with the cocoon, but you did it. And I'm just so happy for you. Thank you so much, Jess. I really appreciate your time and your energy. So, well, I think that's such a beautiful way to finish off today, is understanding that you are one decision away from your next transformation, right? And I want to remind you that you are worthy to transform. It is not selfish. And if it is, even if the word selfish has a negative connotation, it's an act of love. Can we reframe that? That when we make a decision to invest, it's an act of love, whether it's paying for your heating and electricity or investing in yourself and coaching. Look, we now have a few different programs that we're offering. In fact, tomorrow we'll be announcing what we're announcing when it comes to expansion at Matt and Nat Mindset. It's pretty exciting what we're creating, and we 11 again, right? Like, so it's just so magical to be part of this and to have an amazing community who've actually just been experiencing their own 6-week transformation where we've held them accountable, and they finished off just the other day. So we are going to keep doing the very best we can to support your transformation with any way that we are able to do so. And both Matt and I were so committed to seeing you live your best life and you being your best self. And, you know, I still receive messages from years ago of people that are like, oh my God, you changed my life. And they changed their life. We've just created a space to do it and given you the tools. And of course, as we keep transforming, we bring more awareness to you to help you. So we're doing the work just like you. All right. Well, day 3 is pretty straightforward with the questions. It's really about your decision. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about your next level of transformation? Right. And if it's not a 10, why? What ideas are coming up for you? Because I guarantee you that's the story, the old story. Okay. It's just this old limiting idea of, oh, I don't have time, or I don't know if I can afford it. Like, those are the habitual stories that will always rob us from our dreams. And so we have to lead with our heart and not the story that's held us captive. Okay. Decision will start to open the door of that prison, but you got to walk out of it. You got to decide. Okay. Now, and then, do you currently have a supportive, empowering, nurturing cocoon yourself that empowers you to transform? Okay. Because that's what we've created. So, and if you would love to find out more about our programs, we're going to go deeper into it tomorrow, but there is just type it in the website and just contact us, just fill in your details and we'll contact you and we can have a conversation to see where you're at the moment and what's the best fit for you where you're at right now for your next level. You know, we're really being so committed to helping more people where they're at in different levels. Some people like Jess, you can see she's really flowing and moving and there's more, but she's done some of that work, and we have just different levels for everybody. Okay. And also financial investments too. So that's something that we're bringing more of to help more people around the world. We want to help everybody as much as we possibly can. Righty. And last but not least, what is one decision that would transform you in your life right now? If you made that decision, all right, you knew that was going to transform your life, what would that be? Write it down. Okay. Set your intention. Tomorrow, we're also going to be doing Q&A. So bring your questions. If anything comes up for you, we'll finish off with Q&A. All righty. Beautiful. So many nuggets today. Any last words, Nat?
Yeah, I really want something that you said before, and I just want to reaffirm in case someone missed it. You know, you want to really decide who you are and then start saying no to anything that doesn't align with that. Okay, decide who you are and let go of anything that doesn't align with that. And that's going to aid your transformation in such a huge way. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye for now.